चैतन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदाय कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिषे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वर वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. We were reading the fifth canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And I believe we had read up to text 3. So let us start with text 4 onwards. Just open the Lego base. So Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 5. Chapter 13. Text 4 onwards. Text 4. Vivashato ya dravinatma buddhis ततस्ततो धावति भो अताव्यम् वचिक्चा वातयोत्थिता पंसु धूम्रा दिशो न जानाति रजस्वलक्षा. Translation. My dear king, the merchant on the forest path of the material world his intelligence victimized by home, wealth, relatives, and so forth, runs from one place to another in search of success. Sometimes his eyes are covered by the dust of a whirlwind. That is the story of his wife, especially during her menstrual period. Thus his eyes are blinded and he cannot see where to go or what he is doing. But it is said that household attraction resides in the wife because sex is the center of household life. Yanmaithunadhigrihame sukham hitucham. A materialistic person making his wife the center of attraction works very hard day and night. His only enjoyment in the material life is sexual intercourse. Therefore, karmis are attracted to women as friends or wives. Indeed, they cannot work without sex. Under the circumstances, the wife is compared to a whirlwind, especially during her menstrual period. Those who strictly follow the rules and regulations of household life engage in sex life only once in a month at the end of the menstrual period. As one looks forward to this opportunity, his eyes are overwhelmed by the beauty of his wife. Thus, it is said that the whirlwind covers his eyes with dust. Such a lusty person does not know that all his material activities are being observed by different demigods, especially the sun god, and are being recorded for the karma of one's next body. Astrological calculations are called Jyoti Shastra because the Jyoti or effulgence in the material world comes from different stars and planets. This science is called the Jyoti Shastra, the science of the luminaries. By the calculations of Jyoti, our future is indicated. In other words, all the luminaries, the sun, the stars, the moon, witness the activities of the conditioned soul. Thus, he is awarded a particular type of body. A lusty person whose eyes are covered by the dust of the whirlwind of material existence does not at all consider that his activities are being observed by different stars and planets and are being recorded. Not knowing this, the conditioned soul commits all kinds of sinful activities for the satisfaction of his lusty desires. The merchant is in the forest. But here it is being explained that this merchant Manik is obsessed by thoughts of his wife, children, property, money, and so on. And therefore, he is in a mad frenzy for success. And this madness so this obsession, this madness, owing to attachment, creates a blinding effect, which has been described by the analogy of the whirlwind. Just like a whirlwind may come and one's eyes, being surrounded by a whirlwind, one's eyes uh, will be covered by dust and one will not be able to see anything, what to do, where to go. In the same way, the attachment to the wife or the children, the property, the money, create this kind of whirlwind. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining that this a sex life becomes the most prominent aspect of a householder life, a family life centered around sex life. That's what Prahlad Maharaj says, and Prabhupada is quoting, and Maithunadi Grihamedhi Sukham Hitucham. कंडूयनेना बहु दुःख दुःख कृप्यन्ति नेह कृपना बहु दुःख भाजा कंडूतिजम मनसिजम विषेत धीरा. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting this Yan Maithunadi Grihamedi Sukhamiti. This sex life becomes the center of family life. So family life starts revolving around sex life. Mundane family life starts revolving around or keeps revolving around sex life. And this enjoyment, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, is very, very insignificant. That is where Prahlad Maharaj is explaining that this is just what is the pleasure in rubbing of a skin. That this is just an insignificant, very, very insignificant. Uh, but it leads to great misery and great poison. Therefore, a sober person should control his mind and senses. Prahlad Maharaj is saying. So Srila Prabhupada explains that for a materialistic person or a person who has got intoxicated in this way, uh, the uh, the only motivation for work is sex life. Prabhupada is saying no, that one cannot work without sex life. That means what? Uh, that means what? So we see just like in the whirlwind, when the whirlwind comes, the person is not stationary, the person is not moving. The whirlwind is there and the person is blinded, person not able to see, but the person is running here and there. The person is moving. So whirlwind is causing the person to move and he is blind. So that's the analogy. So this material bodily attachment, the sex attraction, oh, it is causing the person to move. That is the only motivation to work. And that is the uh, so that is the mover. That's the trigger for him to move. And at the same time, he is blinded. That means what? That this person, he is moving. So the person is moving just to satisfy the sex desire and thereby to increase the mundane attachment and thereby to increase the intensity of the whirlwind and get further affected and further entangled. Just like person is running here and there in a whirlwind, although being blinded, this person may fall and wound himself and hurt himself and thereby sink in greater misery. Thereby sink in greater misery. So this is a very dangerous trap actually. That is why a devotee should be very, very careful to take inventory of one's motivations. So, okay, as devotees, we have our trajectories of studies and career. But what is very important to note down is what is our motivation for the study, for the career. Okay, a devotee may aim for success in terms of CGPA or salary. But very important to note what is our motivation. Is the motivation because I'll get money, I'll get success, because I will have a better family life? Very dangerous motivations. These are whirlwinds. And we should not uh, so we have to understand simply by facilities, simply by money, one cannot have a better family life. One can have the better family life by Krishna conscious substance. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Griheta Goloka Bhaya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that when I come home, I feel I have come to Goloka. Why? Because everyone in the home is engaged in Krishna service. And as soon as he comes home, he is getting a big list of what all services to do. You know, he's getting a reminder of big list of what all services he has to do. So, Grihete Goloka Bhaya. That is a good family life. Not a family life which has a very strong money balance, bank balance, facilities, and so on. Dravya, so many material uh, so many material what we call as forms simply to titillate and bewilder us. So that is not a good family life. It is based on commitment to the spiritual master. So unless there is mission of the spiritual master, unless there is commitment to the mission of the spiritual master, the family life is weak. And that weak family life very much stands the risk or has a potential uh, to act like a whirlwind in our spiritual journeys. So therefore, one has to be very careful of our motivations. Okay, we should study, we can pursue our career, but the goal should not be simply money success. Therefore, we need to transcend to higher goal and bring it to the level of service to Krishna, bring it to the level of preaching. So I am acquiring skills so that I can serve Krishna in that skill. I'm in a career, I'm going to form an establishment organization so that I can preach there. So the goal, the motivation, the attitude has to become spiritual. Then we will not be blinded. Otherwise, the whirlwind very blind. So a person becomes blind and person is running and he's running and he's blind. It is very, very dangerous. Person is blind, not sitting also. So, so Krishna is telling, sit down. No? If you don't understand what to do, sit down. Lord is saying, sit down. No? You see, 213 to 14, he says, no, Matra Sparshastha Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha, Agama Painu Nityatam Satikshva Bharat. The Lord is saying, oh, you are not able to understand why disturbances are coming in your life? Ah, they are temporary. Don't worry. Ah, just like the distress is coming, happiness will also come. Cold is coming, heat will also come. Hot, cold, hot, cold. This is the world of duality. The dualities will keep coming. Understand that. Now, Mushova, very difficult to understand that. Huh? Because the duality is, and Krishna is saying, oh, you're not able to understand that? Just tolerate. Sit down. Just tolerate. Sit down. Don't act. Don't react. Sit down. Don't act. Don't react. Just sit down. What will happen? It will go away. Agama, apainu, anitya. Why are you acting and inviting greater trouble for yourself? So that is why the whirlwind comes in one's heart. The Lord's message is sit down. Don't run around here and there. Don't dash around, chase, dash. So chase and dash lead to smash. Sit down. Tolerate. Tolerate. So that's the point. So one should be wherever one is. And yeah, one should be wherever one is when this whirlwind is coming. Just catch hold of some shelter. Hmm? If one has bead bag, one can catch hold of bead bag. No? If one has mobile, one can open the Bhagavatam. No? Or one can open and sit down. Don't react. We react, we're inviting greater trouble because it's a whirlwind. In a whirlwind, if you react, we're inviting greater trouble. Actually. So one stands to meet an accident and harm himself, herself, and even others. That is the point. Let's read further. It's like 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now Mother Parvati is very angry at Chitraketu Maharaj because of his impudence. So he was laughing and he was passing sarcastic comments to Lord Shiva. Now Mother Parvati is saying, she is very angry. And she is telling, I am angry as just like a mother is angry. Son, I'm angry, but you deserve punishment. She is saying that, uh, she is saying, oh impudent son, you got bewildered seeing this scene. Lord Shiva was speaking on Vairagya. Mother Parvati is sitting on his lap, Lord Shiva was embracing. Uh, Now, even Prabhupada explains in the purport for a husband and a wife, that is natural, that is not so much bewildering. Uh, and Chitraketu Maharaj was a Grahastha himself, so it should not have been so much um, bewildering. Chitraketu Maharaj is a bit bewildering. Prabhupada explains the reasons. But Mother Parvati is telling, oh impudent son, now you got bewildered and you reacted in this way. जय श्री निताय चांद गौर चांद भगवान की जय श्री श्री जगन सुखदेव ब्रह्मानंद सुदर्शन अक्षर की जय। So now Mother Parvati is saying, you got bewildered in such a way, but did you not look at other devotees who were there in the scene? Brahmaji was there, Narada Muni was there, the four Kumaras, Harit was Sanat Kumar was there, Bhrigu Muni was there, Manu was there, Kapila was there. Mother Parvati, now she is speaking in a very angry tone, but what she is speaking is very sound. Uh, she is saying that do none of them know any religious principles? They did not stop Lord Shiva. How were you stopping? That was Mother Parvati's argument. She was very angry. But what point she is telling is very sound. She is saying that okay, even if you got agitated seeing that sight, now you want to react in some way, there is udvega to react in a particular way. But you should have looked around, no? There are so many devotees sitting there. Should have looked around and seen, is Brahma agitated? And you see Brahma not agitated, Brahma is peacefully sitting and hearing Vairagya, making notes. Narada Muni is sitting making notes. Narada Muni is not reacting, no. Narada Muni is not saying this is Maya, let me run away from here. Narada Muni is sitting making notes. Hearing. The Kumaras, they are Naistik sannyasis, the Sanat Kumars, they are sitting down making notes. They are not behaving in any way. Bhrigu Muni making notes. Manu is making notes, hearing, peacefully sitting down. Yeah, yeah, Lord Shiva speaking. They were all hearing the class. Lord Shiva was giving class, they were all hearing the class. So, Kapila, Lord Kapila is sitting down hearing. So, Mother Parvati's point is very sound that, and her advice, actually, her instructions are very sound that why did you not observe others and control? Why did you not observe others and control your raging urge? But okay, none of them are behaving the way I am thinking of behaving. Now, so many seniors are there around. So many seniors are there around. None of them is reacting. Why am I getting that way to react? Let me curb it down. And this is what the point is. The So this is what the Lord is saying. Matra sparshas to contact. Tolerate. How to tolerate? One very important principle Mother Parvati is teaching to tolerate. One should simply observe great souls, and the way they are reacting, the way we should react. So when we don't understand, better to just see senior devotees and act same way. Even if you understand, better to confirm it from senior devotees and act in the same way. No? That is the point. That is the point actually. So that's the meaning of tolerate. So this udvega, to tolerate, sit down. One should not, therefore, one should act only for a spiritual motivation. That is the advice which is given by the Shastras and Acharyas. Don't act on material motivations. It's a whirlwind. Uh, will be caught madly and badly, integrating to sadly. Let's read further. Prabhupada is making an interesting point there. The Prabhupada is saying, oh, all these, see, they're called as Jyoti Shastra. Why? Because Jyoti Shastra does calculations about our destiny. Why? Because the Jyoti, the luminaries, the sun, moon, they are actually recording. So they give the Jyoti of who we are. They expose who we are. And therefore, the Jyoti, from that, the word Jyoti Shastra is coming, where we can calculate astrology and all. Text 5. आदृश्य झिली सवन झिली स्वान कर्ण शुला शूल उलूका वागभीर व्यथितांतरात्मा आपुण्य वृक्षान् श्रयते क्षुधार्तितो मारीचितो यानि अभिधवाति क्वचित्. Wandering in the forest of the material world, the conditioned soul sometimes hears an invisible cricket making harsh sounds, and his ears become very much aggrieved. Sometimes his heart is pained by the sounds of owls, which are just like harsh words of the enemies. Sometimes he takes shelter of a tree that has no fruits or flowers. He approaches such a tree due to his strong appetite, and thus he suffers. He would like to acquire water, but is simply illusioned by a mirage, and he runs after it. Purport. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Bhagavad philosophy is meant for people who are completely free from envy. Paramo nirmat sharanam satam. Nirmat sharanam. The material world is full of envious people. Even within one's inner circle, there is much backbiting, and this is compared to the sound vibration of a cricket in the forest. One cannot see the cricket, but one hears its sounds and thus becomes aggrieved. When one takes to Krishna consciousness, one always hears unpalatable words from relatives. This is the nature of the world. One cannot avoid mental distress due to the backbiting of envious people. Being very much aggrieved, sometimes one goes to a sinful person for help, but he has no means to help because he has no intelligence. Thus, the living entity is disappointed. For this is like running after a mirage in the desert in an effort to find water. Such activities do not produce any tangible results. Due to being directed by the illusory energy, a conditioned soul suffers in so many ways. So here now crickets and owls are being described. So owl, the howl of the owl that is being described here. Ah, Anytime one hears harsh sounds from somewhere, nowhere, anywhere, everywhere, Prabhupada is saying even from the inner circles. Many times one hears very disappointing, de-energizing, demotivating words, even from one's inner circle. That is a common phenomenon. And that is a common phenomenon that one goes on. So one can hear these backbiting words which completely demoralize, deflate a person. The problem is one cannot do anything about it. So this material world, uh, you see, the point is, now although this material world Allah prophesizes the freedom of speech very profusely, that anybody has the right to speak anything and everything. But actually, this freedom of speech are not driven by materialistic value system, has simply inflated uh, uh, the simply inflated the proclivity of commentary, and therefore commentary is so rampant in this material world. Anyone, everyone, any Tom, Dick, Harry, Gary, Larry, uh, Larry, so keeps on passing comments. So you upload a video on YouTube, 1,000 comments are going to come. Isn't that? Uh, so, uh, Interestingly speaking, you upload a post on the social media, so many comments are going to come. Interestingly, we will see that those who are positively commenting, their comments are not that Uttama Shloka, so to say. They're, so they may just give a thumbs up or a heart or something like that. Uh, or just say thank you, Haribol, very nice, like that. So that's not too much Uttama Shloka. Means it's not, that way, articulately crafted that it just, wins us over, no? Yeah, it just, wins us over. And in that, there will be some comments at least. Krishna will make sure something will come at least. So, and those comments uh, are very Uttama Shloka. Means like they're so articulately designed that whatever puff up one has, exactly the blast will happen. And exactly it will hit us. Exactly it will hit us. Like that. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Like that. Very, very interesting. See, somehow we have to understand this is the nature of material arrangements. So the person is uh, it simply hits us very bad. Uh, uh, like I remember one of the days, so uh, in Pune, so there was one brahmachari devotee, nice, very nice devotee. So he gave Bhagavatam class. This was first time he had given Bhagavatam class. He was already saffron. So his first time in life, he had given Bhagavatam class. So very nicely, he had prepared, worked hard, took guidance, heard lectures, everything, meditated, systematized, everything, Uh, he gave a nice class. I attended the class. I did get given a nice class. So he was a very nice devotee. And uh, and he was very happy and satisfied. I saw him, after giving the class. See, that is the nature of Bhagavatam. That one meditates and goes deeper and tries to glorify, especially Prabhupada is there, the deities are there. One will feel a lot of nourished, because of the blessings, because of just that absorption and sanidhya of the Bhagavatam. At the same time, the presence of the deities, Srila Prabhupada, uh, and obviously the devotees, So in general, now we see Bhagavatam after the class, now many devotees come and they say, okay, thank you, very nice lecture, this point very nice, that point very nice, you know. So many devotees are telling you spoke this very nice, you know, encouraging him, expressing their appreciation, their encouragement, everything like that. Uh, and so all that was going very nice and very fine. All this was going very nice and very fine. So everything happened, everything was getting just about to wind up. All of a sudden, he just heard a sound, you know. He just heard a sound, you know, of, he just heard a sound, you know, uh, something to the effect, kya bakwas class diya, something like that. Something to that effect. You know? So, uh, and immediately, you know, the scene changed for this devotee. He got so much moved and jolted, you know. He forgot that whole scene, you know. There's so many nice, congenial atmosphere, many devotees encouraging, appreciating, and you know. Uh, but ultimately, Bhagavatam is glorious. There is so it's like that. But he got completely, so he chased after the direction from where the sound comes just to pinpoint, you know, who spoke this, you know, somehow, you know. Uh, so he left all that other assembly, means there were devotees around, and that was a nice congenial atmosphere. He just left there and dashed and wanted to chase in that direction. Uh, Anyhow, he did got an idea of from where that sound came, uh, because uh, because I found both of them fighting in Manasharam. So the point is that one gets very much um, very much uh, hit hit. So what Prabhupada is and Prabhupada is saying inner circles. Sometimes husband, wife, father, mother may speak something which just pulverizes the person. They also don't know why they spoke, and they forget also after they speak. And we are wondering, ऐसा बोल दिया, जोर से बोला, yes, मैंने क्या बोला? So Krishna has a perfect arrangement actually to deflate our, to pinch our false ego. Why to develop and blow up the false ego then? Because no, you don't blow up the balloon. You don't have to be afraid of needles. You know? But you make a big balloon, and then one has to be very afraid. Somebody and metal nature will ensure some or the other pinch, and big blast will happen. You know? And so the person retaliates in a very bad way to these sounds like that. That's because of ego, actually. That's because of ego. That's a point. Uh, Maharaj Daksha was heavily, outrightly, cursing and criticizing Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva didn't say anything. Lord Shiva was just silent. He just tolerated humbly. That is Vaishnav. Vaishnav means no reaction. Vaishnav does not move on material provocations. He only moves on the call of service. But Lord Shiva did not react. Lord Shiva just got up and he walked off. That's all. Didn't react. Was very tolerant. That is Vishnu. So this owl and crickets, that sound is the enemies. The enemies. That sound is everywhere, for everyone, and one has to be very careful. Now, further, it has been described here that this Vanik experiences many emergency situations in which one needs some shelter and satisfaction because the situation is too intolerable. It's like it is said that he may be running around in hunger, not eating anything. And thus, in hunger, one way the Vanik comes in contact with a tree, expecting that he'll get some fruits and flowers, but nothing he gets. The barren tree. no fruits, no flowers. So similarly, when people are suffering very badly in this world, then they somehow or the other try to catch hold of anyone, everyone, somebody, anybody, uh, and they may catch the hold of somebody, anybody, and to try to seek help, to try to seek shelter, but they do not get any help because help can only be given by the Supreme Lord. Help can only be given by the spiritual Shakti. Nowadays, it is the age of stress and depression. People are depressed. They run around. We're very sorry. They run around everywhere. Actually, where not they go. They go to motivational speaker, to psychiatrist, psychologist, and counselor, life coach, this coach, that coach. Uh, Nothing of no avail. Actually, uh, of no avail. Help can only be given by the bona fide spiritual master, proper says. The representatives of the spiritual master, because the spiritual master reveals the glory, the message of the Supreme Lord, revives and awakens the connection of the Jiva soul to the Supreme Lord. That is the point. And therefore, help can only be given by the spiritual master or his representatives. That's why the help can only be given by the spiritual master as representatives. So, therefore, this Vanik is suffering very badly. And the same, and the another analogy explains the same thing, that one runs after a mirage because one is desperate. One thinks that anywhere, everywhere, one will get the shelter, and one is just running, 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 and one doesn't get the shelter, and therefore one goes on suffering. One thinks my organization will help, my company will help, my neighborhood will help, my boss will help, my brother will help, sister will help. No help comes. Even if they try to do some efforts in order to help, still the help doesn't come about. So this is material world. The help can only come from spiritual strategy. Therefore, the Acharyas and the Shastras explain that, you see, when one has material desires, that material desires lead to very hardcore material expectations, and and those expectations actually can never be fulfilled. That is why time and again and again one comes to this desperate type of situation. So, so these belligerent material desires can never be achieved. And on the contrary, we see the spiritual substance uh, uh, can never be Shilpa ki so the spiritual substance can never be deprived from the living entity. Means if one wants positions and facilities and successes after successes owing to material desires, that will never be furnished. And therefore, one will always be in desperate situation. But if one wants the grace of Krishna, that can never be taken away by any material situation. Is there any material situation which can stop us from chanting? No. Is there any material situation which can stop us from serving? No. Prana chayar karo prachar. Life is there, one should preach. If one is alive, one should hear Krishna Katha, speak Krishna Katha. Can nothing can stop us from that. So only if it is a dead piece, then only the hearing and reading and chanting can stop, and serving can stop. Bile bato rurukrama vikramani. Ah, those ear holes which do not hear Krishna Katha are like the snake holes. The snake holes. So only if it is a dead concept, then only. But as long as there is life, nothing can stop the flow of one to take shelter of Krishna through Vaishnavas, through Shavanam Kirtanam. That is the point. And therefore, Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is echoing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Ami bina bandhu ar kya che tumhara. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, Enechi oshadhi maya nashi baro lagi. Ei Hari Nama Mantra lao tumi mangi. Enechi oshadhi maya lao tumi nashi baro lagi. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, তোমারে লইতে আমি হইনু অবতারা আমি বিনা বন্ধু আর কে আছে তোমার Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Jiva Jago Jiva Jago Gora Chand Bole Bota Nidra Jao Mai Pishachira Kole. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Jiva Jago Gora Chand is telling Hota Nidra, how long will you keep sleeping in the lap of which Maya? For your sake, I have come as an incarnation. Who can be a more greater well-wisher of yours? There is no greater well-wisher of yours other than me, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling. In the same way, spiritual master is pleading to everyone, please become serious in Krishna consciousness. And that is why, as a sadhaka, we have to understand there is no other shelter other than Krishna, the spiritual master, the mission, the words of the spiritual master, and the devotees, the Vaishnavas. No other shelter. One can go on. Therefore, I believe Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, another song he's saying, Chauda Bhuvana. What is that line? Chauda Bhuvana Madhe. Yeah, there is no other greater treasure other than the holy name. In the entire 14 planetary systems, when we keep on traversing the entire 14 planetary systems, there is no other greater treasure than the holy name of the Lord. Chauda Bhuvana Madhe. So I'm forgetting the full line. आम बिना किछु नहीं को आर 14 भुवन माझे कृष्ण नाम करिया पाना जुड़ाओ भक्ति विनोद प्राण कृष्ण नाम सुधा करिया पान जुड़ाओ भक्ति विनोद प्राण नाम बिना किछु नहीं को 14 भुवन माझे. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling the entire 14 planetary systems, there is nothing, no other shelter, no other treasure, no other pleasure, no other treasure than the holy name of the Supreme Lord. So therefore one has to think, where am I wandering around here and there? Everywhere. So and therefore actually a devotee, good times, bad times, proper shelter all the times. A devotee is not a mongering here and there, trying to do something other than Krishna. Now a devotee simply takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. Devotee simply takes shelter of the spiritual master, understanding. And this is the symptom of Sharanagati. The symptom of Sharanagati is what? Not to keep searching here and there, mongering here and there, searching here and there, but to understand. What is that? Sarva karma krita hoy. Shraddha Shabda, yes. No, Sarva Karma Krita Hoy.
श्रद्धा शब्द विश्वास से करे सुदृढ़ निश्चय
Shelter of
कृष्ण
Krishna,
भक्ति कर लो
everything will be accomplished.
सर्व कर्म कृता है.
if we take shelter of Krishna, everything will be accomplished. Yeah. Shraddha Shabda Vishwasya Kare Shuddhada Nishchay.
फिर कृष्ण भक्ति कैला सर्व कर्म कृता है.
भक्ति करिले सर्व कर्म कृत होय. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. So no need to search here and there. Everything is there. Therefore, a devotee is always interested in chanting the whole name. Because I understand if I simply take shelter of Krishna, everything will happen. So therefore things are working, then devotee is chanting. If things are not working, devotee is chanting. Like that. One always takes shelter. That is symptom of Sharnagati. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita. If I simply serve Krishna and please Krishna and the Vaishnavas, everything will be accomplished. There's nothing else which is required. Or otherwise, one will land up in barren trees and mirage. So, to save oneself from the barren trees and mirage, Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita. That is, one should do Krishna Bhakti. Next 6. Vachitvrito ya sarito bhiyate. Parasparam चालसते निरंधा.
परस्परं चालयते निरन्तर.
आसाधे दाभं क्वचिद् अग्नितप्तो.
असाध्यतां कुतः
निर्विद्यते क्वच यक्षेर्हितः सूत्.
निर्विद्यते वजयक्षरन्तस्तु.
Sometimes the conditioned soul jumps into a shallow river, or being short of food grains, he goes to beg food from people who are not at all charitable. Sometimes he suffers from the burning heat of household life, which is like a forest fire. And sometimes he becomes sad to have his wealth, which is as dear as life, plundered by kings in the name of heavy income taxes. But when one is hot due to the scorching sun, one sometimes jumps into a river to gain relief. However, if the river is almost dried up, the water is too shallow, one may break his bones by jumping in. The conditioned soul is always experiencing miserable conditions. Sometimes his efforts to get help from friends are exactly like jumping into a dry river. By such actions, he does not derive any benefit, he breaks his bones. Sometimes, suffering from shortage of food, one may go to a person who is neither able to give charity nor willing to do so. Sometimes, one is situated in household life which is compared to a forest fire. When a man is heavily taxed by the government, he becomes very sad. So, heavy taxation obliges one to hide his income. But despite this endeavor, the government agents are so vigilant and strong that they take all the money anyway, and the conditioned soul becomes very much aggrieved. Thus, people are trying to become happy within this material world, but this is like trying to be happy in a forest fire. No one need to go to a forest to set it ablaze. Fire takes place automatically. Similarly, no one wants to be unhappy in family life or worldly life, but by the laws of nature, unhappiness and distress are forced upon everyone. To become dependent on another's maintenance is very degrading. Therefore, according to Vedic system, everyone should live independently. Only the Shudras are unable to live independently. They are obliged to serve someone for maintenance. It is said in the Shastras, Kalo Sudra Shambhavaha. In the age of Kali, everyone is dependent on another's mercy for the maintenance of the body. Therefore, everyone is classified as a Shudra. In 12th canto of Bhagavatam, it is said in Kali Yuga, the government will levy taxes without reciprocally benefiting the citizens. Anavrishtya Vinangshati Durbhiksha Karapidita. In this age, there will also be shortage of rain, Anavrishti. there'll be scarcity of food will arise. The citizens will be very much harassed by the government taxation. In this way, the citizens will abandon their attempts to lead a peaceful life and will leave their homes and huts and go to the forest in sheer disappointment. So one enters forest fire. Hmm. So as it is explained here, these materialistic shelters are like a shallow river. Uh, these materialistic shelters, they are like a shallow river. So these materialistic shelters, person stands to, person goes for gain, but he returns with a lot of pain. So why? Because the help and expectation, neither people are able to help. That's the first thing. Secondly, nor are they willing to help. So the ability is not also there, because who can be able to help? Only a devotee of the Lord can help, because he is Krishna Shakti. And only when Krishna Shakti comes, then only the help can be given. Otherwise, no Tom, Dick, Harry can help. Just like person is diseased, father, mother cannot help. Only a physician can help. Person is very critically diseased, even physician cannot help. Krishna will help. Uh, uh, what is that verse? Nartasya chagatam udanmati majjato. No. Parents cannot save her. What is that? Nartasya chagadam udanmati majjato. Physician cannot save a critically diseased person. The parents cannot save a drowning child. Balasya neha sharanam pitro narsimha. Nartasya chagadam udanmati majjato. So that is the point actually, that therefore there is no use jumping here and there in a shallow river and banging this door, that door. You know, better hit the spiritual floor. No, that is the point actually. So because these shallow rivers simply going to we may go with great expectations, but when one will return with great misery, and return with great misery. And now it's okay. I will not go to anybody. I'll not go to anybody. That will also not happen, because household life itself is a forest. So every time there is burning, so one cannot sit, and one goes where to go. Nowhere one can get help. That is why better take shelter of Krishna. And that is why this forest of material existence is no good place to wander around. This forest of material existence is no good place to wander around. No? And that is why one should not be too excited about tasting and experiencing the glittering flavors of this world. More the intoxication, more the agony later. Better to be steadfast in one's practices of Krishna consciousness, knowing very well Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita. So let's stop here for today. We will continue again further in our next class. Hare Krishna. So we thank all the devotees for participating. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Bol.